Alright, so this is another month. Well, that's obvious, isn't it? This is another month of monthly endurance race. This time it's at Spa. This is round 2. Multi-class goodness we all know and love. We are at a practice session at the minute, 17 minutes to go. Not too many people have set their lap times yet, but they don't have to because it's not qualifying. You won't be hearing me speak much because, well, there's not really too much going on in practice. This is people running over their racing strategy last minute. So yeah, if you're in post, skip to qualifying, or even the race if you're that impatient. We've got an hour and 20 minutes to race, so you might want to start chowing down, reviewing on that. Give that a go in post. But yeah, if you're watching the stream live, then yeah, I'd say come back in at least 10 minutes. So you can see how the testing times are stacked up, and we'll have a rough idea of what we'll get in qualifying and what the average pace is. So a bit of a reminder of what this league actually is. There are 4 classes: LMP1, LMP2, GTE, and GT3. So 2 types of prototypes, 2 types of GTs. One is faster than the other, respectively. And we have title races going on around the place, really. The only one I can think at the top of my head is the one happening in LMP1. There's a big battle going on between Christian Kubovic, the DTM, the Super GT champion from last year, and a newcomer, Ethan Muttram, who seeks to get his first championship title to his name. Should be interesting to see, because Ethan actually disconnected. He disconnected from the last race due to an internet problem. Ethan seems to be on really good pace with Kubovic, so it'll be very important that they do not disconnect this time and we get a good race out of it this time, because Portimao was a little bit of a bore in the LMP1 section. All action was in P2 and GT3, I suppose. So that's the recap. I'll pull up some numbers and I can tell you the championship standings for now. By the way, don't believe I've ever told you my name. Still Michael Choose. Your voice for the commentary. I'd be racing here by myself. I would be racing here myself and the prototypes myself. Were it not for an unfortunate accident I'm after having. But what can you do? At least you have a voice when you're watching this back, I suppose, because you'll be wanting to show other people how you've been racing and how you've been doing. Or if you come over here under your own merit, then good for you, you're in for a treat. So, verbally, here are your, well, the current timetables for the, well, not even a timetable, it's just the timing sheets for like championship points, because it's very important. Different classes, different point schemes. So, of course, Christian Kubovic won in Portimao, so he's ahead in the championship, ahead of Mottram and all the other P1 drivers that are turning up by 25 points. Henrik Andreasen, the top GTE, is sitting pretty at the top of his class. At the top of his class leaderboard. Hiriko Troteville managed to win last time, so she is sitting at 25 points at the top of P2, and Vic Vega is sitting on top of the normal GT3 table. Now going backwards into, I'm going to list the rest of the leaderboard for P1. Fotis Isoglu managed to get his second place at the minute. He managed to finish his last race on second. And the other LMP1s either haven't competed yet or haven't finished the race, such as Ethan Mottram. Mottram would have been sure to pick up a few points last race if he hadn't disconnected. Very, very unfortunate for Ethan. Looking into P2, it was a pretty fierce battle between Hiriko Troteville, Andy Darnell, and to some extent Foster as well. No, not Foster, Mikola Volinets. They've all had a very fierce battle in LMP2. That was a very big entertainment last time, so let's see them clash again. If they've refined their driving style at Spa. For GT3s, it's a pace battle between Vic Vega, Dave Ziska, Ivan Luke. No, not Luke, because he's GTE. David Koulas was driving in front for the majority of Portimao, but he fell off towards the end, unfortunately. Arthur Graw is one of the higher end GT3 drivers. Let's hope he can keep it together without damage this time. Oh, sorry, so nothing more to say in terms of championship points. Your leaders are Christian Kubovic, Andreasen, Hiriko Troteville, and Vic Vega for now. But that can all change. It's the second round of the championship, this. People can make any kind of gap happen. Or expand. Who knows? So, 7 and a bit minutes to go. Fotis Isoglu is the fastest prototype present at the minute. Set a time, it's a 2 minutes 3.7. Mikola Volinets is in first place for P2, alongside Hiriko Troteville, who's P2 for P2. Furthermore, for GT3, while Cockert is in first in class, ahead of Ricardo Costa, David Koulas, and then left Grierson Tan. Anthony Ferrante is at the very back for GT3. There are 21 drivers in total, but not all of them have been bothering setting times. A lot of these guys will be practicing beforehand. Well, most of them anyway, I hope. And that's an R18 I spot coming out of the pits. That might just be Ethan Mottram. Close rival to Christian Kubovic for this title. And you know what? I just noticed Kubovic hasn't joined yet. He's probably going to join in sometime during qualifying. We've still also got an absence from myself and Timo Reiter, who has made a transition from GT3 to LMP1. Would have been interesting to see how that would have worked out for the German. But we've got 22 cars for 5.5 minutes remaining. Nothing more to say for now. Sit tight. I used this time to get some snacks. How are you? So Ethan Mottram will be able to give us our first impression of his pace tonight. He's been pretty quick here at Spa in the past. I've raced him in a testing session over race distance, and he's got the pace, and he's an interesting strategy to say the least, but you know yourself, anything can happen. And if Christian doesn't show up, it's going to be utterly one-sided for P1. Four minutes to go, and timing is still the same. People are improving their times, but that won't mean much because they're going to have to do it all over again for qualifying for formation of the grid. Ethan Mottram has been to the Discord and asked, why is there a yellow outline over Foster? To which I can reply, there is not. 1 minute ago. And spa practice for the monthly endurance race. These are going to be the final moments before qualifying so people can fine-tune their setups. And Ethan Mottram still hasn't set a first impression. So we'll see how qualifying gets on. But Fosis has gotten even more practice at hot lapping, like over the past half hour, than Ethan Mottram has. So I don't sign a Kubovich anywhere. That's why. Hopefully Christian joins soon. Be a shame not to see Kubovich in the midst of this battle. See him and Ethan dogfight. And I just found out that Kubovich wants to switch to GT3 instead of P1. Oh. I'm not sure what the plan is, but that really spoils our championship battle. I'm not very delighted. This is gonna be an utterly one-sided prototype battle. So now we are in qualifying, 43 minutes to go. People are they're starting up their out laps, getting their tires up to temperature. The prototypes in question they've bolted on softs. Now, because softs won't work in a normal race, these are basically qualifying tires that will fall apart within the matter of laps, like a few laps, before they start dropping off really badly and overheat. And the reason for this is because of the double tyre wear and double fuel usage rules that we have going on to make things a little bit more interesting for strategy. So pit stop strategy is going to be very important over the course of this race. But this also means that these are the drivers' at least the prototypes, one chance to use softs during this weekend. Fotis Isoglu begins his first hot lap for LMP1. Meanwhile, Ethan Mottram has blitzed the first sector going into the second sector. He's looking quick in his R18 number 1 car. 41 minutes to go. We nearly have our first times on the board. First impression is going to be arriving soon for Ethan Mottram. What pace are we going to get out of him on his first lap of qualifying here at Spa tonight? And that's 2 minutes 3 seconds, .4. It's a pretty nice time. And the benchmark for P1, as we know it. Photosysoglu comes. He's going to go to the start-finish line. And he is 5 seconds, almost perfectly 5 seconds off the pace. But who knows, we might see a faster lap out of him. We've got 40 minutes to see this. Meanwhile, Dave Ziska and Lefter Santana set times. Ziska is first for GT3. Leaderboards are starting to flood in with times now. I'll explain them in a moment. So Photos looks like he's on another lap. In the first sector he's 1 second off, but he's improved he's improving his own lap time, which means we might see better stuff out of him yet. Number 3 Mistral. Always picked up massively in the second sector, and it's only 1/10 off. This is ought to be good. Right, here we come. The number 3 Mistral, Photosysoglu. Oh, this is close. Really close, actually. 2/10 off. Pace between him and Mottram are going to be very good this time round. Same couldn't be said for Portimao, but Photosysoglu said in the Discord that he will improve. And he has certainly delivered. Can't sit down in the pits to rest yet, Ethan. You've got some work to do. Meanwhile, for P2, Mikola Volinets for P2 has claimed first in the leaderboard for P2. Mark Cockert and Lefter Santana are first and second respectively for GTE. You can tell if it's a GTE because, if it's a Porsche 911 RSR, well, you can usually tell by the diffuser if you have a trained eye. Maybe the sound. It's 2019 spec, if you know what I'm talking about. Now for bog standard GT3, Mark Bartman is first place in normal GT3 in Bentley. 7th place goes to Extreme Radical in a BMW M6. M6 also in the next spot with Dave Ziska. He comes third. And that's a new that's a new leader for GT3. It's Dirk Pfeiffer. He's all the way at the front. He wasn't this far up in Portimao. But this must be one of his better tracks. The Bentley seems to be very good here. Besides, behind Dave Ziska is Anthony Ferrante and then Rio Racing in P11 overall. Just makes you wonder when Henrik Andreasen is going to step in. Andreasen is clearly the superior GTE driver. If you watched anywhere close to towards the end of the last round, well, he managed to outrun LMP2s in that car. As a testament of how quick he is as a driver. I'd be blessing myself right now if I was any of these P2 drivers or needed. Less alone the GTEs that he's racing against. This should be an easy championship for the Viking himself, Henrik Andreasen. Anthony Ferrante does not improve, so he pulls the Mercedes over and calls it a minute. So much to my surprise, the LMP2s following LMP2s, Andy Darnell and Yuri Kratochvil haven't bothered setting time so far. So, granted they have half an hour to set a time, but still, Mikola Volynets does not have any competition so far, so it should be an easy pole for the P2 driver. Well done, Mikola. And just as a reminder, I can't see an in-game chat, so otherwise I'd be commenting on that as a sort of ode to in-car radio. Oh, that would be snooping. Fotis is improving on his first sector. Seems green. Unfortunately, he cannot carry that momentum, and he goes white by half a tenth. He's going to have to give it another go. But he's all really close to Ethan Mottram's pace. He's done very well so far. White Fox Jig Joe, or JGG as it says in the leaderboard, it's not so obvious. I think he just beat his head on the keyboard for a name. Well, he's P14 overall. Behind him is Sodi Malucci. Rhino Burger is a new rival for today. We'll be seeing him in the league from now on for GT3. We've seen him at the back for now, but who knows, we might have a small battle between him and Malucci. BMW versus Mercedes. And there Henrik Andreasen. Well, like, his performance speaks for himself, really. P4. His first posted time is faster than each GTE. And he was faster than some LMP2s last day as well, so I'm just in awe of Henrik. I envy his driving. If I said I didn't, it would be an absolute lie. An update on Fotis Isoglu. He seems to be nailing the first sector over and over, but he just can't carry his speeds like he used to into the second sector. I think it might be time to pit in and reset the heat on his tyres. Maybe even change to new softs, as those tyres can overheat quickly in these conditions. So let's talk strategy. So, in terms of the P1 cars, Ethan Mottram's Audi R18 can last around 20 minutes on a single fuel tank. And the mediums, in my experience, have lasted around 30 to 40 minutes without dropping off too badly. So that's around like 2 fuel cycles. So if you're running solely mediums, you'd be changing the tyres once every 2 stops. And the hards, you're only going to have to change them once. But you're still going to have to come in for fuel, so maybe, who knows? And maybe people will just take because they're in the pits already, maybe they'll just take the full tyre set. Maybe get some fresh rubber and get back out on the road. That'll be my strategy anyway. But it's quite a considerable amount of time to put in to stick on tires onto the P1 cars. To add front tires is going to cost like around 15 seconds if I'm not mistaken, and like around 25 for 4 tires. So I don't know, like maybe the hard runners are right in that they'll save less time in the pits and make time over the medium runners that way. But we'll see what tire everyone's on come the race. But everyone who can run softs are running softs. Apart from Andy Darnell in the P2, he's running mediums, but I think for temperature reasons. Andy Foster runs 8th overall. behind a plethora of GTEs and GT3 and a GT3. Kulas is back up actually. I didn't realise. David Kulas, he was running ahead for the majority of the Portimao round, but he seems to be carrying his fire starter sense into this next race. Be nice to see what we can see out of the Polish driver. So of course in GT3, Dirk Pfeiffer in the Bentley is in P2. It's nice to see the English manufacturer up there. Behind him is Arthur Grau in the BMW M6. And behind him is Barman in P4, Radical P5. Stiska 6th, Rail Racing 7th, Ferrante 8th, and Winterberg 9th. Which reminds me about, while we're talking about BMW GTs, the M4 is going to be coming to Race Room quite soon, I've heard, from the Racer in Discord. So, the R-Factor drivers are going to be very excited to see what the difference is like. And also people will be coming over from ACC because the M4 has been a pretty dominant car over there. Some information from the Discord. Ethan Muttram has set a PB. Well, 203.4 is his personal best lap time in the LMP1. Well done to Ethan Mottram. He's done well. But Fotis isn't very far behind, and this is going to be about endurance after all. Ethan should look into more time attack competitions. His qualifying pace is impeccable. So here Kratochville's gone second, half a second behind Volignets. Two different cars in the P2 leaderboard so far. Mikkola is driving a DMD. It's a V6 car. And here Kratochville is driving a V8 Chevrolet DPI, which is a Daytona prototype. Which is almost like a normal Le Mans prototype. Plus, it being American, it's a little bit faster, a little bit more stronger, but a little bit more sluggish in the corners, if you know what I mean. So here he improves in the first sector. She's still 2 seconds off. Not 2 seconds off, she's only 2 seconds off of Ethan Mottram's pace in the P1. I'd imagine that straight line speed is going to be very crucial for lap time here in Spa. Here he has a great chance, maybe the next lap she'll have a really good chance at dethroning Mikkola Volignets from pole position for P2. And another thing I should mention is, my apologies, another mention we should mention is the formation lap we're going to be doing. It's going to be, I believe it's going to be led by a safety car, and there's going to be a single formation lap behind the safety car before the race gets underway. So none of that grid start chaos. People will be able to control themselves on already warmed tyres if they do the rolling start right. Because in their outlap, when you're following the safety car, it's important to weave from side to side, but not too much. Like weave a little bit and brake to heat up the brakes and heat up the tyres to make sure you've got the maximum amount of grip and braking power going to the first turn, so you can make as many moves as you can. And people who are ill prepared to go racing. "20 minutes to go. Ethan Mottram is in P1 at the minute. That's the benchmark of each delta. Photostatistical is 2/10 off, but hasn't improved in that time since he set it. Nicola Volinets is in P1 in the P2 category. Yuri Kotochville's in P2. And Rick Andreasen is first of the GTEs. Behind him is Noel Cockert. Andy Darnell is third in P2, but some of these GTEs are faster than him. I found out from Andy that he hasn't practiced too much. It's starting to show in his driving, but this is about endurance, not lap time, so I'm sure he can figure out something. But a big race ahead, 80 minutes. We've now had so many entrants to the leaderboard that it's starting to go off screen. We've got 25 drivers in the server now. Just have a look through the list. No sign of Kudovic. We could have had a three-way dogfight. So I'll just briefly say what you can't see off screen, because past 22, number 22, you can't see past Malucci at that Mercedes GT. Well, now it's JGG. So in 23rd is Malucci, 24th is Vic Vega, and 25th is Ivan Lukic. Everyone but Ivan Lukic is a GT3. Lukic is, I believe, is a GTE, but he hasn't bothered setting a time yet, so Vega and Ivan Lukic hasn't set a lap time yet, so we'll be able to see them soon. And here's an interesting fact. For the GT3s in this race, we have applied a leaderboard qualifying system, which I think is really interesting, because a lot of GT3s want to take part in these events, and of course the server can't accommodate them all, or else it'll just crash. And of course there's limits to the game as well, but it is what it is. There's the leaderboard qualifying system, where all the GTEs, P2s and P1s are able to enter the race just fine, but the remaining amount of spots are left to be jockeyed between the GT3s. So only the best GT3s who apply for qualifying and set their lap times fastest are taking part in this race right now, which I think is quite interesting. There's an insurance for quality action later on in around 16 minutes, hopefully. This is good from Andy Darnell. He's managed to go green in 2 sectors, he just has to finish it, and he might be coming ahead of Henrik Andreasen and Mal Cockert ahead of him in the GTEs. He's P7 overall. Let's see if we can make it into a P5 overall. Final chicane, there's a little bit of GT3 traffic. He's got it, I think. He's managed P6 overall. He's managed to overtake Hawkhurst in the GTE. I think those GT3s at the end of his lap might just screwed him over a little bit. I believe he could have placed ahead of Andreasen. 2/10 behind Andreasen and Andy Darnell is. Just use the car, use that down, lean on that downforce just a little bit more. I know the DPI doesn't have much because it's American, but use what's there. And let the rest of the combustion engine do the work. All the heavy pushing. Because if there's one thing that American cars do well, it's go in a straight line. Boy, are they quick. Sonny Malucci in 24th for GT3 has gone green in the first sector. He might be finally getting his act together. We've got 15 minutes to go. P1 leaderboards hasn't changed, P2 leaderboards hasn't changed. Apart from Andy Darnell moving ahead of Hawkhurst. GTEs haven't changed. David Kulas still remains in front of the GT3 timetable. And Dirk Pfeiffer still second. Gra is now in third ahead of Ricardo Costa in fourth. Malk Barshman is now in fifth in the Bentley. Can't help but mention that they're driving Bentleys. Like, they don't usually do this well. I've never seen one this high up the performance tables before. Not in a live race anyway. Dave Zisco's gonna up his game. 2 green sectors. Just needs to finish it off for GT3, and he's gone better than 18th overall on the grid. He makes the final chicane, coming down to the start-finish straight. Once he managed to pull out, and he won 22. Remains 18th. He managed to think he screwed up somewhere along that last sector. Andy's gone green in the first sector once again. A lot of the drivers don't have any trouble with the first sector, but it's just all about threading the needle in the second sector and keeping it together to get the time in order in the third sector that lots of these drivers are having trouble with. Let's go over some of the numbers that I'll be using. So Ethan Mottram is, well, he has the car number 1 on his R18 livery. Fosus has number 3 on his Mistral. In terms of P2, number 45 belongs to Mikola Volinets. Thierry Cotrachville uses the number 90, and Andy Darnell uses the number 10, I believe. Koulas, the fastest GT on the track right now, GT3 I mean, is the number 14 Mercedes. Cyan bullet around the track. Henrik Andreasen, he's driving the number 911. For GTE, he has done a very fantastic job. With the car he's given. I should probably go over the teams, like each of the teams that are driving this round, because there's a bunch of divisions. For brother ups, Ethan Mottram would have been is a whatchamacallit. Ethan Mottram is a brother ups driver, and if Timo Reiter shows up, he's also part of the brother ups team. For IY Racing, Inspired Yorkshire, Arthur Graw is one of the leading lights, with the Ivan Lukic and David Koulas all being part of the IY Racing crew. They're pretty good with the setup, if you ask me. Also on PetrolHeads, we've got Andy Darnell and Faustus Isoglu for PetrolHeads. And then the PetrolHeads B team. Well, I say B team, but it's we'll just call it the B team. Here at Kotachville, Christian Kibovic and Dave Ziska would have been on the same team, scoring for their team. Half a Second Racing, that's Dirk Pfeiffer and Mike Bartman, a pair of Bentley cars. They're both a team, so let's see how they help each other out, I suppose. Tugas Racing, that's home to Vic Vega. CMR Esports, we've got Charlie Monk if he's present. Anthony Ferrante is part of his own sim racing team, LWE Racing Italia. And of course, I would have driven for Brother Ups, but well, I've had an accident and I can't drive. So you have to put up with me all over again. So 8 minutes to go. Is this? I missed that. I was looking at statistics. I missed Faustus Isoglu. He's on pole ahead of Ethan Mottram. Mottram's PB wasn't enough to stop Faustus from taking P1 and P1. Nicola Volinets hasn't moved. Critic Touchville hasn't moved. None of the other grid spots have been jockeyed so far. Well, this is a big surprise. Faustus Isoglu. This is really good news for the Greek driver. But this might be a double-edged sword, actually, because now Ethan Mottram has the inside of the first corner, and that might not work so well, but you gotta appreciate how close they are, like half a tenth. Look at that gap. It's non-existent. We're gonna get some really good races going tonight. Tell you now. And unfortunately, I've recently gotten information that Timo Reiter cannot make it to the race. He is 20 minutes away from his house, and there's 6 minutes of qualifying left to go. So unfortunately, we will not be seeing a third prototype in today's Spa race. Unfortunately, Timo Reiter has had work, and Unfortunately, couldn't get home from his Arbeit in time. So around 4 minutes left to go, qualifying essentially. Fotis Isoglu's managed to steal back the LMP1 prototype's pole position. It's a tongue twister from Ethan Mottram's R18. So will that translate into performance? Well, endurance, I mean, in the 18-minute race to come. And I don't believe it. Ethan Mottram's gone almost 4/10 above, 4/10 up on his previous fastest lap. He really wants this pole. Don't wear yourself out too much, sunshine. You need some endurance for the race. You keep your heart rate down. It's only one position, buddy. What's he gonna do? Just misses out. It looks like he's gonna pull in for the day. And he's gonna wait until the race. And then here we have the safety car going out for a practice lap. If you notice it. Let's have a look, see who's driving that safety car. All right, I just found out Christian Kivovic, instead of driving the P1, he's having a bit of a problem. He's driving the safety car for today, so we'll be seeing that side-by-side action one way or another from him and Ethan. Oh no! Ethan Mottram's game has crashed. 50 seconds to go. Can he make it back in time? Endless internet troubles for Ethan Mottram. He's gonna have to restart his game very, very, very quickly. 30 seconds to go. And from the Discord... wait, hang on. Qualifying seems to have... the... Alright, so I've just gotten new information from the Discord. Amongst Ethan Mottram getting very upset. We'll be prolonging qualifying until Ethan Mottram, maybe Timo Reiter, joins back. So, yeah, this is interesting. At least we'll have another prototype in this race. This will be good. This will be excellent. Not the end of the world for Ethan Mottram. Timo and Mottram are very happy in the Discord to have found out this information. So we'll be seeing from action from them. Ethan's words exactly, his heart has stopped for a second. I'd love to get a post-race interview out of him. Maybe we can find out exactly what he was thinking. Get a massive meltdown in the Discord. The Me6 bot has warned Ethan for spam. That's how much upset he was. So it's very, very good that the race organizers have decided to prolong qualifying. It's very, very good deed. It was nearly a free win for Fotis Isaglu, but now he's going to have two prototypes to race against. Alright, scratch that on the interview with Mottram. His mic's broken, so unfortunately we won't be able to do a post-race on him, but I'm sure we'll be able to get a few words out of him before the race starts. So this is good. Qualifying will be skipped as soon as these guys join back. So you won't have to wait for too much longer. The time was 41 minutes, but it's most likely 3 for you guys at home. And I bet any of the 25 drivers here are going to be itching to race. Ethan Mottram's now in, but we're going to be waiting for Timo. Timo is starting his race room now. I'm just having a look at the Discord. Crikey, that was nearly a disaster for Mottram again. His internet hates him. Alright, so commentary is back. So, both Timo Reiter and Ethan Mottram, both in P1s, are now going to be contesting the leaderboard. Very nearly a big moment for Mottram. And we have a new Mistral, Timo Reiter. I need to check what number that car is. It's orange, Mistral. The orange number 5 car for Brother Ops. Arthur Grog has made a bit of a joke. He said to Andy Darnell, "Thanks for stopping the server so I could finish my dinner. Very nice of you." Flattering himself, he is. Formation lap is about to begin. On the gas, I would be getting my snacks in order. Tristan Kubovich driving the safety car. And number 3 of Ethan Mottram. No, that's not Ethan, that's Fosis. Fosis, this signal has been left behind. That's a prototype in the back. Am I seeing things? Oh well, the formation lap's underway, and whoever that prototype is has to wake up, or else they'll miss the race start. Well, it is as I feared. Fotis must have disconnected, or he was having problems. There's only two prototypes. Ethan Mottram and Timo Reiter. Only those two are starting up in the grid today. P1. Meanwhile for P2, Nicola Volinets starts in pole position, ahead of Kirikou Tocqueville, Andy Darnell and Andy Foster. For GTE, Henrik Andreasen starts first for GTE. Mike Hockert is second for GTE, Ricardo Costa third, Ivan Lukic fourth, and Tan fifth, Rebeck sixth. Now for GT3, the Mercedes IY. For IY, David Colas in the Mercedes, cyan colour, is in first for his class. Arthur Gross posts in second. Dirk Pfeiffer and Mark Bartman, the teammates in the Bentleys, are third and fourth. Vic Vega fifth, Rusnimas sixth, Radical seventh, Ziska eighth, Rayo Racing 9 and Ferranti 10th. And that concludes, well, basically everyone in the grid up to 10. Alright, so prototypes are going to get out on the way to safety car. Mottram is standing still, so it's no idea what Ethan Mottram is thinking, but he's standing still. Well, Timo's just taken off. He's in the lead. Wait, why are they waiting? They need to go. Well, Timo Reiter has the advantage. Heads the inside of Mikola Volinets going into turn 1. Timo Reiter second. Mottram close behind. He's going to try the inside of Eau Rouge. Oh, there goes Mikola. On Eau Rouge, he's round. Nothing Timo could do. But here comes Mottram now. It's around 1 second behind. Timo Reiter misses the corner. So is Mottram. This has been quite odd. Ethan Mottram overtakes Reiter on the inside. But there's more. Timo Reiter's fighting back. If he holds this straight line speed, he's going to have the inside of the next corner. And he does. Fantastic. Ethan Mottram is getting off track. This is very good stuff from Timo Reiter. But one thing I must say, what was that start from Ethan Mottram? Well, let's go back. Let's take a step back and have a look at the other, some of the other drivers are taking, were overtaking. Andy Darnell's managed to overtake Fotis Isoglu, and, well, everyone did. Andy's in first for P2. Unfortunately, Mikola Volinets has spun out in the first lap at Eau Rouge after a contact with Timo Reiter. And I need to find him. He's in P10 overall. He probably has damage. So it happened, Ethan Mottram has managed to overtake Timo Reuter and the gap is building rapidly. Andy Darnell is in first place in this class for P2. Mark Cockert is in first place for GTE. He's managed to overtake Henrik Andreasen, although that gap is quickly diminishing. Carlo Costa is in third for GTE. GTE is fourth for Ivan Lukic. Thierry Cottage-Vels in P9 overall after a bit of a start failure. And a blank GTE has overtaken the number 1 car of Ricardo Costa. That's Ivan Lukic up into third. I shall dub these pair of Bentleys the Bentley brothers at this rate. Pfeiffer and Bartman are together, and together they attack Arthur Grob for the last podium spot. See how they fare for the rest of this time. An hour and 12 minutes to go. We've still got a fair bit of action from the GTEs. Now that is an absolute disaster. That's probably one of the hardest hits I've ever seen from Mikola Volinets. Mikola is about to peel out of the pits of his P2 machine in last position. This after having to fix damage that is incurred during his shunt in Eau Rouge. Very, very, very unfortunate. And something I never figured out. What's happened to Fotis? Fotis is the pole sitter for this race. Hopefully we can find out some kind of information on the Greek driver. But one thing's for sure. P1 dogfight is long gone, because Ethan Mottram has managed to make 6 seconds on Timo Reuter, and the gap is only getting bigger and bigger. Small accident from the number 3 BMW. Let's have a look at small look at some of the tyres that people are using. Ethan Mottram is on the hard and is lapping quicker than Timo Reuter on the mediums. Fotis Isaglu planned to start the racing hards, but of course he never made it to the grid, or he just fell asleep, like I did during that Evora race yesterday. We won't talk about that. That is confidential information, boys. The Bentley brothers are still fighting off Arthur Grob. Pfeiffer at the spearhead. Vic Vega at the back of Mark Bartman. A pair of Bentleys from half a second racing are doing very, very well in the second race of the championship, and that is Mikola Volinets' race. I cannot words right now of how much bad luck that Mikola Volinets has had. First he gets wrecked, then he gets sent to the back of the grid to fix damage, and now his internet dies. And via Discord, Mikula vows to never go racing ever again. Well, I'd say that too. If that happened to me. Kibovich is after saying, what if it happens after 70 minutes? Well, then I would actually follow through on my bid. I'm sure I'd quit sim racing altogether and stick to my karting. Because you can't disconnect out of real life, can you? Very annoying for Mikula. They're too wide going into the second sector. It's half a second racings. Dirk Pfeiffer versus Arthur Graw. They're tripping over each other. Bumper to bumper action. They go wide. And Barkman catches up. Into the left-hander now. Bartman and Pfeiffer are chasing that half a second racing. 2-3 podium spot for GT3. Arthur Graw wants to keep his chances at a 1-2 for ILI Racing. So I've got a really big points dynamic here. Meanwhile, behind the Bentley brothers and Arthur Graw is Vic Vega, who doesn't have quite the pace to catch them Graw. But if they keep tripping over each other like this, they might just catch him with the pants down and make a sneaky move. Dirk Pfeiffer and Bartman are side by side. Bartman overtakes into the chicane and gets the move done nice and smooth. Bartman is up into third place. And Fosis' car is still there. The start-finish straight. But at least it's not on the track. But really, what could have happened to Fotis? I know he runs a gamepad, so could he have maybe his controller battery's down or something? I don't know. Maybe he's using one of those higher-end Xbox controllers that have the Bluetooth and whatever on them. But one thing's for certain, he is out. And he makes up... Oh, that's a massive crash for Winterberg, the yellow Ferrari. He's in 21st, now he drops down to 22nd. 23rd now. Now he gets back moving. He's going to have very serious damage to the rear. And some hefty suspension damage to the rear of the car. Just cracks under pressure. That's what happens to the drivers after even just a small while. An hour and 20 minutes might not seem an endurance distance, but if you consider this as this is practically a single stint, like single normal endurance stint, that will, if driver swaps were a thing after this amount of time, there'll be a driver change. But we would like this to be a gateway into proper endurance racing. Like this is enough. This isn't even proper endurance racing's distance. This would be, in actual endurance racing, this would be called a sprint. But this is a very good gateway into building up your endurance skills and biding your patience for real. Extreme Radical versus Luz Lima, Porsche versus M6. They're around half a second behind. And Ethan Marchand has flapped his first cars. Andy Foster is now one lap down to Ethan Marchand. Bartman and Pfeiffer are going to be fighting for Rebeck, the GTE car. I thought I'd say this for another song. Traffic for the Bentley brothers. Nothing can stop these pair. I can imagine the only explanation for why the GTE car is going so slowly is maybe he's forgotten to tweak the fuel mode. And remember, the higher the number, the more engine power. Mode 1 is least powerful and map 5 is fastest. I think Rebeck might have gotten mixed up. It has no power on the strings, or the guns for that matter as well. No heat in the tyres. He's not leaning on those wings like he should be. Bartman gets closer, ever so closer. We are practically 18 minutes in. Drivers like Ethan Mottram is going to have to start peeling into the pits now for fuel. Not sure how long GT3s are going to have to stay out for. There's going to be an ocean of cars peeling into the pits 3 by 3 very, very soon for the amount of strategy that we're about to witness. Oh, and that is very bad. That's Fotis' car in the middle of the track. Carnage. Very big carnage. Someone's hit it. Off from the side of the track. Off into the centre. So now that start finish is practically under perpetual yellows now. Basically a mouse trap for any old GT, or any old car who decides to drive past. That's a bit of an accident, and that's not a bit, that's a big accident for the GTE and a GT3. David Koulas and Lefteris and Tan, they've managed to collide. Unfortunately, Tan is now 18th and last in the GTE category. Very big damage to that RSR. That will most certainly slow him down. Let's check out the P1s. Mottram is still leading, and Timo's appears to be 18 seconds behind, that gap's steadily increasing. But one thing Timo does have with those, with that Mistral car, is that the petrol cars seem to have better fuel economy. I noticed this when I was racing Christian Kubovic. Me and Ethan were driving R18s, and Christian Kubovic was driving a DMD, which was a V12 LMP1 car. And despite me and Ethan having diesel engines, which I thought for the longest time might have been a little bit more economical for fuel, but the V12 engine, believe it or not, can stay out for like 5 more laps or so. 2 to 3 more laps. And the Audi can. Very interesting. I've never seen the Mistral in action like this and this stopped. So it makes you wonder if this is going to be the case with Reiter. He's going to be able to stay out for longer and overtake Ethan like that. Maybe make his time in the stops. There's no doubt the R18 is one of the faster cars. like at least the simplest to drive, instead of if you can figure it out. Like what me and Ethan have. Oh, who am I kidding? We found the setup courtesy of David DeGroot off of the PetrolHead website, and we made it work here at Spotlight. So, big shout out to Big Man Groot, Big Man Davey, coming in clutch for the R18 users for tonight. But yeah, like with this setup, the R18 seems to be the best car suitable for hot lapping. But for actual endurance racing, the DMD P21, like in terms of strategy, can stay for a lot longer. So in that sense, they're doing time with the R18, like over the stops. Look at that, Extreme Radical and Lewis Lima and two GT3s are still at it. I swear, like they've hit like 3/10 and they have stayed there. Here comes a little bit of slipstream. Maybe you're looking at sniffing out an overtake. Too far away. Oh, what's that? Well, I don't believe it. Big pause for dramatic effect. Lewis Lima has outbrake himself. Radical is now P13 overall. And there's no Radicals there overtaking today. And if you're wondering where Rebeck was after all this time, Rebeck has been slightly behind Lima now. And it's unfortunate to announce that Anthony Ferrante has retired. And I thought, did I just see Timo Reiter on the grass? Oh, this is terrible. Timo slips up at the last minute. He hasn't had that much time to practice. So he just got back from his Arbite. He hasn't had as much practice as everyone else, so he's slipping up the odd bit. But he's getting back to it very fast. Only problem is now he has a gap of around 40 odd seconds to catch up within the stops. That's very, very sad for Anthony Ferrante, the GT3. The Italian is now DNF'd from this race. So a little bit of information on Mikola Volinets. So from the Discord, he's saying this is 2 days in a row that this has happened now. So for context, this also happened during the Evora racing, the Lotus Evora Championship we had yesterday. Me and Mikola are on the team, so I couldn't make the first race. In fact, it caused an accident in the first race in the grid because I wasn't there. We don't talk about that. Confidential information. But yeah, after a while, he got his internet crashed. So now he said, but this time this internet was good because he moved into a different room. But he crashed this time because he's playing on the laptop with the same video card as his microwave. So I'm sure that's a metaphor for potato PC. But good news is he's getting a brand new laptop tomorrow. So this is going to improve hopefully we'll be able to see Nicola Voynitz finish some races in the near future. Props to you, Nicola. This is interesting. Andy Darnell has managed to overtake Timo Reiter despite being in a lower class car. It's certainly in. Well, I mean, I can't. Oh, well, Timo Reiter must have been in the pits to fix the damage. He was gained earlier. We saw him on the grass. I hope that was in the broadcast, but I saw him on the grass. He must be pitching to fix some damage, maybe catch Ethan. Or even for fuel, because that'll be the prime time to do it now. We're half an hour into this race. So Ethan's gonna have to stop one time or another. Well, hang on, Ethan's already stopped, I missed it. But let's see what the tires are like now. Ethan's back in the hards, and Timo's going to be switch to the hards again from the mediums. Andy Darnell is in P1 for P2. That makes any sense. P2, first in class. Andy Darnell is running the medium tire compound, and he is yet to pit. Henrik Andreasen, in the lead for his class in GT. He's yet to make a pit stop, but he is an absolute master at making his car go the distance. He always seems to go the fastest by using the least fuel. Absolute prodigy, I say. More and more GTEs are pulling into the pits. So that's it then. Andy Darnell finally comes in for a stop. Found out that it takes approximately 60 seconds after a pit stop for the P2s, so let's hope this will work out for Andy Darnell putting his stops in the long finger. Because the cars behind are non-existent. Where are they? My eyesight is so terrible. Andy Foster and Voynitz are out of the question. Like, they're both at the back. Voynitz is out. And Kratochville, where's she gone? She's in P16 at the minute, in P3, I believe, for her class. And here he has overtaken Andy Darnell for the lead of P1, P2. So as it seems, doing the overcut has not worked out for Andy Darnell, unfortunately. Oh yeah. Oh my god, I'm just been on the radio with Andy, and he's just after saying that his pit stop took 2 minutes instead of one, because his engine was still running, and he hadn't fully pulled into the pit box or something, and he'd been waiting for 2 minutes. That's terrible. That must have been why he could touch Phillips past him. And he's got around a minute in pace to make up, over 47 minutes to go. We've almost reached half race distance, ladies and gentlemen, so sit back. And I can't believe what I'm seeing. Fotis Zissiglo's car is the dead husk of a car. 100% damage according to telemetry. Is still on the track, hasn't despawned. We have a question from Mikola Volinets. Question to choose. Whose fault was it in that lap 1 incident? Because from my view, it just got pushed into nowhere by Timo. So, I don't know what happened there, actually. I have to rewatch the replay because I'm a steward later on. But if you had my opinion on it, like, I don't know, maybe, like, first impression, I thought you maybe squeezed Timo into the center a little bit too much, or maybe it was the other way around. Like, it all happened so fast, I can't say for sure. But I'd call that, as of now, I'd call it a race incident. We have to take that up after the race with the stewards. Mikola. Hopefully we can get it sorted, mate. Dirk Pfeiffer comes at P16. So let's have a look at, here's your updated lap times. So Ethan Rotramson's first position, followed by Timo Reiter. Ivan Lukic is in first position right now, since Andreassens came in for a stop. David Kulas is in fifth in his bog standard GT. He's outrunning all kinds of... Well, that's the number 2 Mercedes car round. Seems like Malucci, maybe. Bound P15. That's what I was saying. Kulas. He's outrun several GTE cars for IY Racing. And that is very dangerous. That's the number 2. He's doing burnouts after a route. Be very careful if you can hear the... He's smoking out his tires. He's trying to go onto the back end of the track, but he's after cooking his rear tires in the oven. It's more burnt than a well done steak at this rate. He can't hardly control himself or accelerate. Traction control is probably all the way back on for any kind of control for that car. The 912. He comes in for a stop for GTE. Dave Ziska is in P17 overall and is chasing Luis Lima. Lima has, yes, since built up. Well, the gaps between Luis Lima and Radical. We saw them fighting earlier. That is 3.5 seconds now. So across 20 minutes, probably. I don't know, my perception of time is famously wrong. But you know yourself, they haven't exactly departed from each other, but they haven't exactly moved either. Meanwhile, Dave Ziskas making good time on Luis Lima. Won't be a matter of time before Dave Ziska starts to get a little bit of slipstreaming help off of Lewis Lima. And Rebeck is in the pits. After his collision earlier, I expected Lefteris and Tant that green GTE to retire, but he seems to be still going. Or not. I tried to click onto his onboard camera, but it's just going into the ground. It usually means he's disconnected. Unfortunately for the other Greek driver. Well, the Greek seems to be disconnecting. It's a shame. Well, hang on, that is a DNF. The Lefteris and Tan is DNF'd, and Mark Bartman, one of the Bentleys that we saw earlier, is also DNF'd. So we have had 5 cars in total that haven't finished this race. Just thinking back to that one incident between Quillinets and Timo Reiter, it was a very, very odd crash. Like, I've never seen, like, that. I've never seen, like, hit wreck. Something you can see on iRacing. It's outrageously close, but I wouldn't have thought that would have been that severe. And that's got to be one of the hardest crashes I've seen in my time commentating. At least these online racing. I mean, obviously, not even excluding like Demolition Derby, like that's had some solid crashes, but that beats them, all of them. Honestly, it's just very, very unfortunate. Super unfortunate. So that was a very intense first 40 minutes. Cheers to another 40. Ethan Mottram is in first position, ahead of Timo Reiter in second. Lukic is in first for GTE. Jordan Totchville is first for LMP2. Has dropped back yet again. He used to be way up there, like past some of the GTEs, but he seems to be dropping back behind Pfeiffer and Arthur Grau and Vic Vega. Vega seems to be our brand new GT3 leader. That's very interesting. Kulas seems to be really good at the start, but at the end, towards the end, it just drops back. Reminds me of Lightning McQueen in his early days. I watched the lore for him, and apparently he was super fast, but always towards the end, he used to die down. If you ever watched the Cars movie. So that's definitely, no matter how fast you are as a driver, there's always something you need to improve on. Such as Kulas, he's got outstanding pace, but he needs to manage that pace. He needs to keep it consistent and not drop back after half race distance. He needs to rewire himself so he can take the stress and like take the heat of that endurance racing has to offer. Otherwise, you won't be finding success very soon, sunshine. Of course, if you have any questions you'd like to ask, please, like I'll be watching the YouTube stream myself from now on, just to have a look at the comments. So if you want to ask a question, you put a comment there, or if you want me to answer the question faster, then put it. If you have access to the Discord server, please answer in Discord, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, so we have something to talk about, you know? Endurance racing gets pretty boring, but not in this instance. That's the Porsche of Lois Lehman. Round, losing positions. That's a bit of a unfortunate occurrence. That's all, nothing more to say. Meanwhile, Nicola Voynets in the Discord says, by the way, I'm not accusing Timo in anything. He also knows he didn't want to crash, but he could have just waited till the straight. He is in the way faster car. Yeah, that is true. But if I were to, like, take this from a man with experience in racing like slower classed cars before in real life, or karts. Because even though like you're in a faster class kart, and there's a slower classes ahead, you can't always wait until the straight to overtake. Like if you get into the mindset of the faster car, like he's in first place at the minute, and in my head, I've got a chance at retaining first place for another few laps before Ethan gets up to speed, and by slowing down, I'm like, of course he wants to like get past you as soon as he can, so he doesn't have to slow down as much, so Ethan can't catch up. So that's probably what's going on through Timo's head. It's very unfortunate that it turned out the way it did. But that's just how the cookie crumbles. There's a joy of motoring, buddy. And a little bit of a small update on Rhino Burger, our newcomer GT. He's had a little bit of a power outage before the race, so we couldn't get everyone back in the race, unfortunately. So there's around half distance to go, 35 minutes to go. Positions haven't really changed that much. But something has crossed my mind. We still haven't figured out what's happened to Fotis. Someone needs to, like, I'm gonna ask a question in the Discord actually. I need to figure out what happened to him. At Bob Torres, what happened to you, buddy? Oh geez, that's a BMW M6 off the track. He spun and he nearly collected 911 RSI. Didn't quite catch who he was. But yeah, nothing's really changed in terms of... Yes, it has. No, it hasn't. Well, apart from GT3's leaderboard, where Kulas has fallen further down the line. Like our new top 5 for GT3, by the way, is Ricardo Costa, Arthur Costa, Pfeiffer, Kulas, Radical. Now the GCEs have recovered, and that is Justin Winterberg in the barrier again. He is 22nd and last in his class, and in the entire field he's having too much accidents. There will be nothing left of that Ferrari by 22 minutes, I predict. The German driver needs to step up his game. Oh, that's a massive crash for Dave Ziska. Just a sad snap oversteer. Be very careful coming onto the 3rd sector, lads. Might find a little bit of a roadblock in the shape of an M6. Dave Ziska has retired from the Spa endurance race. Which is a shame. He was in it for very good midfield points. Ethan Montran has had an effortless race so far. I just found out that Ethan Montran has 80% damage. 80% engine damage. So Ethan must have been involved in the collision of somewhat. The thing is, he's going to be majorly down on power. It's going to be hurting his chances to win. Maybe Timo Reiter will catch up. Oh, that's Winterberg. He knows better. He just collected Timo Reiter. Somebody needs to black flag that man. This is collateral damage for the entire field. He's a liability. That 488 must be stopped. "56, 57 seconds, and Timo Reiter has to make up. With the engine damage that Ethan Montran has, like that leaves Ethan Montran with a dilemma. Will he stay for the last half an hour down on power at 80% on his engine? And hope he doesn't pick up any more engine damage and break himself. And hope that Timo Reiter doesn't catch him on the straights. Or does he come into the pits, fix that damage, and spend that time in the pits at the expense of time in the pits to Reiter? Only time will tell. Ethan's already been into the pits twice. And he remains in the hard compound. Timo Reiter is also on the hards. Yuri Kotatsville is in first for LMP2. Andy Darnell is making swift moves, P6, P7, no, P6. In front of him, he has Henrik Andreasen, Cockert, 2 GTEs that are fairly quick. And he's got 20 seconds between him and the GTEs, but once that's finished, he can start focusing on catching Healy. I think we've got a very good recovery drive in order. Let's check up on Fotis' car, which still hasn't despawned. Still lying at the center of the start-finish straight. It's missing each of its wheels, and according to telemetry, it is 100% on everything. 100% engine damage, no transmission, 100% front aero, and 0% rear aero. But there are no, I doubt there are any wheels left in that Mistral. So pretty savagely by the GT3s. Very careful where they go. Kulas is a bit of a, almost a little bit of a heartbreak. Andy Foster at the back, had a little bit of a spin. Justin coming from P2 in the barrier. So 25 minutes to go. Connection's very much down. Between everyone else. But not for Ivan Lukic and Ricardo Costa. Fighting for the last podium spot, I believe. In GTE. Oh, that's Lukic. He's tugging at the tail a little bit too much. Losing time. 8/10 separate the two cars. 8/10 separates Ivan Lukic from another podium. Vic Vega on the outside, flashing his headlights to get around. Well, I assume he's lapping one of the GT cars. Didn't quite catch what livery number it was. Maybe it takes a little bit of time to reiterate. The racing has died down a little bit, so if you got ready to refill your coke or whatever, refill your popcorn and sit back down for 5 minutes, sit down and go and switch. So what are the other tracks we're going to have in the next months to come? And look-see. I'll check for you. So next month, the endurance race will be at Monza, site of the Italian Grand Prix, with this Formula 1 chicane added in. I don't own this track, so I might sit out. I have to. But I'd imagine like this is one of the cooler tracks. Another track that the BPI would be more appealing. Let's have a look back at behind Lucas so the Paul Foster's race, 3 tenths separate them going down. Right, left, right. They're now 2 tenths separated. Not quite close enough for a lunge. Maybe it is. Ricardo Costa has gone wide. Lukic takes the position with ease. And I see an LMP2 peeling off into the pits. Dirk Pfeiffer peeling out. The last remaining Bentley of half a second racing. The final Bentley bubble. Once upon a time they were fighting for the podium, but now they want to keep solid midfield points, I suppose. It's Dirk Pfeiffer versus Arthur Grau. Grau behind. Starting to turn into a big trend that I've noticed. The online racing drivers are starting to get very fast at the start of the race, but they can never follow through to the end. So your top 3 for GT3 are Vic Vega, Dirk Pfeiffer, and Arthur Grau. Top 2 for P1 is Ethan Mottram and Team Mottram. Top few for LMP2 is Thierry Cottage-Phil, Andy Darnell, and unfortunately Valignetz is retired and Andy Foster is at the back, second last running overall, and 20th. So we have had 7 retirements throughout this race. We've had, first of all, Fotis Isoglu, who didn't make it to the formation lap. Nicola Valignetz and Ferrante, who internets have broke down. Lefters and 10 got wrecked. Bartman probably got wrecked. Lima crashed out, and Ziska snapped understeered into the barrier. No idea what caused that, but it was cracked into the pressure, I presume. Seriously? Well, let's check back up on Fotis' dead chassis. Still sitting dead center at the start-finish race. There's only 3 wheels, 100% engine dead, and 100% front aero dead. That was very strange. Yeah, the leaderboards are freaking out, Andy. Just talking to the event organisers, boys. There's having a little bit of a confusion. We thought the process was still in the running, but it's been dead all this time since the formation lap. The photos just got moved out of the way once again. The second hit that chassis had. Hopefully the driver stays in that car. He would have been rattled by now. We've gotten to that stage where everything's died down, the last of the battles is stagnated, and this is typically where everyone go in for the last stops, and this is where people stay, usually. So, would anyone like to ask any questions about what's been happening so far? If so, I'm watching the YouTube comment section and Discord, so if you'd like me to answer any questions, please do throw in your queries. If you're on stream or post, please throw a like in the stream. It's cool, if you're cool. An unfortunate oversight for Lewis Lima. 15 days training to be killed by another category in one corner. Lima was killed practically by a faster class car, it appears. Training for over 2 weeks, Lewis Lima. Very, very unfortunate. But 'tis the joys of motoring. You'll have your chance next time. Dirk Pfeiffer's Bentley have been doing very, very well. I've never seen a Bentley this high up the leaderboards this far. I'd have another sniff in the Bentley myself, but it's just the driving position. It's a right-hand drive GT3. And it's very odd. Well, that is to be expected. Bentley is a quintessentially British company, so I'd imagine that they want to be as British as they can, including driving position, the correct way round, if you will. It must be that V8 engine shared by the Mercedes AMGs and the Bentleys. They share the same engine, just the chassis that's different. Same twin turbocharged V8. Ethan Mottram's slicing and dicing through his traffic to an easy win behind Arthur Graw. Passes Arthur Graw with ease and can get back to building his very formidable gap to Timo Reiter, which has got to be over 2 minutes. My R3 reality, my telemetry is starting to like freak out over how big of a gap Ethan Mottram's been building over Timo. Oh, that's a spin! Ethan Mottram spun. But that won't impact him too much, I'd imagine. Because Timo is nowhere to be found. One thing that Ethan needs to be careful of is something else happened to him while I was racing him. One time when Ethan Mottram was pushing to get past me, he pushed a little bit too hard during the last chicane, like the new bus stop, and he managed to beach himself in reverse onto the curbs. And because of how low his wire height was for the setup, if you've gotten off of BrotherUps.com, he beached himself and couldn't get off. So that DNF'd him from the race. So that was to be very careful that that doesn't happen again. David Koulas has dropped right down the order. P6, I believe, in his class. He's dropped 4 positions since the start. Ivan Lukic is still in front for the GTEs. Henrik Andreasen is in P2. Andy Darnell has sliced and diced his way up the field. He used to be around a minute to find this gap between him and Henrik Andreasen, but now it's 13 seconds. We won't have time yet to catch Henrik, and here he's got 10 minutes to do the deed. Goodness, I say, there is nothing left of that much mystery on the start-finish stretch. I can't help but saying every time I see it. This brings a great regret of a dogfight between the P1s that we could have watched, but didn't get. Kulas is going very slowly. Ricardo Costa has had a little bit of a moment. He keeps hanging the tail out a little bit too much during that last corner there. He's losing a lot of time over it. So the GT3s are starting to catch up. So what did you guys think of this race? Was it pretty good? Well, compared to Portimao, who was a lot more fighting going on. There's only one problem with endurance racing. Like around half an hour in, every battle stagnates. It's just a train until the next round of pit stops. That's Kulas on Rayo Racing, side by side. Rayo Racing's on the inside for Brazil in the M6. And Kulas is the late breaker. He goes through. Rayo Racing's got the momentum. He's sticking with him. That is a very depressing sight for Timo Raiter. Let's go. Five minutes to go. Ethan Montram's in the lead overall ahead of Timo Raiter. Kirill Petrolhead in P2 isn't P1 in class for P2. Ivan Lukic is winning in his class. Henrik just can't catch him on this track. Ivan has a very good chance to overcome the Viking on this occasion. Malucci versus Arslan. Arslan's on the inside line and goes through. Behind them, it's going to be traffic for Hiri Kotochville. They both pull over to one side, and that's the done deal for Hiri Kotochville. Small bit of info on Dave Ziska. He wasn't killed or anything. I think he managed to destroy the car, unfortunately. So that is why he did not finish. Well, speaking of destroyed cars, Justin Winterberg has had a fair bit of shunts. No idea how he's still running. Foster taking a little bit of a break on the grass. Sonny Bellucci is traffic for the 912 Porsche RSR GTE. Arthur Graw has managed very, very well. With invisible damage on the front end of his car. A very small bit anyway. Or, no, my eyes are failing me. But Dirk Pfeiffer in the Bentley. This is certainly my favourite part of this race. This is going to be the final lap. Or second last, I have no idea whether my maths are on point or not. We've got 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Kulas allows Rayo Racing to go through to 14th overall. Final lap. Well, very shortly, Ethan Mottram is going to round. Ethan Mottram is going to round the last corner. It has been very big practice for Ethan Mottram. Almost a heartbreak with the internet. Big practice, almost a big heartbreak with the internet. But it is to be for Ethan Mottram. He wins the... I keep fucking up this, right? Oh my god. Excuse my French, but... this is embarrassing. Ethan Mottram celebrates in victory for he wins the Spa Endurance Race Monthly. He's trained a lot. I know how much he's trained for this and how much this means to him. He wants to win this championship. I know he does. And he won't have Kubovic to fight anymore for it. So who's going to stop him? We'll just have to wait until next time. On the monthly endurance racing scene. Meanwhile, for GT3, Dirk Pfeiffer comes home to win in GT3 for the Bentley. Half a second racing wins in Spa. Ivan Lukic still can't get to bring it home. He's on the last sector. Andy Darnell is close behind that Ivan Lukic. Relatively speaking, 17 seconds. But Bahiri Kotochville is to win for P2. Well done, Hiri. That was a long hour and a bit. Well done to everyone that finished this race. This is a very big achievement and this is a very big feat amongst non-endurance racers. Well done, everyone. This has been a very fantastic race. I hope to join you guys for the next one. Ethan Mottram is celebrating his first ever league racing victory. Well, this is utterly amazing. Yeah, fear is up to most predictable because there's only competition to team. But still, well done to Ethan Mottram before he wins overall for prototypes.